Marissa Lynn tonight live at the Pinellas EOC in Largo. The mood there, Marissa.
Well, Mark, we did go down to Clearwater Beach, and I can tell you that there's still plenty of folks who are down there. Most have evacuated, but there are a few who remain. And imagine this, they are willing to ride this storm out. Not a soul in sight on a Friday night near Pier 60 on Clearwater Beach. Mandalay Avenue, the beach's main stretch, looks like a ghost town. The Hilton Hotel is boarded up and closed as Irma inches closer to Florida. Across the street, there are two places still open to those who remain on the beach. Jammin's Beach Bar is one of them.
Until the water gets too deep to serve beer, we'll be here serving.
Are you at all worried about...
Not one bit.
Why?
I do not know. I mean, I'm going to stay in my building over there. I'm going to park my car, make sure it's taken care of, and sort of watch and see how it goes.
Jim Gass will be one of few left on the beach when Irma makes her way closer to the Bay Area. By 8 o'clock Sunday morning, Clearwater Police will refuse anyone trying to get on it.
It's for the security of the houses, the residents, the businesses out there. We don't want anybody out there on the beach that doesn't have a need to be out there to secure their place for the storm.
The beach is under a mandatory evacuation.
Until Sunday morning, you must have a permit to get onto the beach, meaning you're a resident or have business matters there. A checkpoint has been set up. In St. Petersburg, hundreds of residents at Bon Secours Maria Manor were transported to St. Jude School by bus. Food, water, medication, and linens all had to go with them.
As we all feel, it's an anxious time, and you can only imagine being an older person who relies on others to have your needs met, your basic needs met. It is uncomfortable and anxiety-provoking for sure. So we work really hard to keep them calm, move everybody in an orderly manner, and stay positive.
It's the mindset all Floridians should have as Irma bears down on the Sunshine State. Now, back out here live in Pinellas County, again, the only mandatory evacuation zone is Zone A. I'm told by the Pinellas County Emergency Management Office that a decision on Zones B and C will be made tomorrow morning. Also, if you have pets and you are still wanting to seek shelter somewhere, Oak Grove Middle is one shelter that is not accepting pets at this point, but there are two others that are. They are Dunedin Middle School and John Hopkins Middle School. We're live tonight in Pinellas County. Marissa Lynn, Fox 13 News.
All right, Marissa, thanks for keeping us updated. See you in a bit.
Fox 13's Marissa Lynn joins us live from the Pinellas EOC with an update. And Marissa, we're hoping everyone won't wait until 8 a.m. Sunday to make that decision.
Exactly. Now, Zone A, of course, still the only mandatory evacuation zone here in Pinellas County. I'm told by the Emergency Management Office that a decision on Zones B and C will be made early tomorrow morning. Now, Clearwater Beach is in that Zone A, and tonight there was hardly a soul in sight. Check it out, this video. It really did look like a ghost town there. The Hilton Hotel is boarded up and shut down. There were very few cars on the road because Clearwater Police have set up a checkpoint on Oak and Court Street. Unless you have a permit, are a resident, or have business matters on the beach, you will not be allowed to go there. Sunday morning at 8 o'clock, nobody will be allowed on the beach. But that does not mean people won't ride this storm out. Believe it or not, there are a couple of places on the beach that will remain open, and I found one man who's willing to take Irma head on.
I don't know, just sort of curious to see how a hurricane looks.
I'm guessing you've never been through one.
I have not, and maybe after it's over I won't do it again next time, but I'm sort of curious.
The only people that we're allowing on Clearwater Beach are those that have a residence out there, a business out there, an employee that's assisting with securing a building or a house, or any contractors that have been assigned to go out there and assist with securing buildings. Beyond that, you're not going to be able to get out to Clearwater Beach.
And take a look at this video again. Clearwater Beach on a Friday night, completely barren. Just an incredible sight. Businesses and hotels along the beach are closed. Most people are heeding the advice to evacuate and seek refuge elsewhere. Now, Pinellas County is also planning to lock all drawbridges in a down position by 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. And if you're thinking about evacuating yourself, there is still plenty of time to do so. In Pinellas County alone, there are 7 shelters you can seek refuge in. All 7 of those are listed on our website, fox13news.com. Again, Zone A, the only mandatory evacuation zone here in Pinellas County. A decision will be made on Zones B and C early tomorrow morning. We're live in Pinellas. Marissa Lynn, Fox 13 News.
As you pointed out there on Clearwater Beach, seeing those stores boarded up and the streets vacant, that really makes this real. Thanks, Marissa.
Good morning, Laura. We are at Largo High School right now, where people are still trickling into this shelter. It is 4:30 in the morning, but you still have people slowly coming in here. I am told that there are about 3,000 people here at the shelter already. And within the last 24 hours, this place has more than doubled. We started with about 800 people here yesterday. It is now, like I said, jam-packed with 3,000 people, but there is still more room to grow. I'm told capacity is at about 5,000. But again, as we've told you time and time again, they will not turn people away. If you are seeking shelter away from the storm, they will not turn you away. Now let's go to some video now of people coming in. Like I said, slowly but surely they are making their way in here. I know it's very early in the morning, but people are making that last-minute decision to come to Largo High School to seek shelter here. And if you are out there and you are thinking about heading to Largo and you drive by and you see a packed parking lot, do not fret. This parking lot is jam-packed, completely full, no parking spaces available, but they are still gladly accepting people. They are not going to turn people away. And although it is not listed as a special needs shelter, I am told, again, they are not going to turn people with special needs down. There are also medics here on scene. And basically, they are trying to keep as many people as they can. And at last check at the Pinellas County EOC, the capacity for shelters of this county is 40,000 people, and right now at last check, again, only 16,000 people have come to shelters here in Pinellas County to seek shelter. So still not even at the halfway point. So plenty of room at Pinellas County shelters. And we talked to one man who was thinking of riding this thing out, and at the very last minute he decided to come here to Largo High School. Before, Michael?
Never.
And again, Zones A and B here in Pinellas County, those are the mandatory evacuation zone, along with people in mobile homes and in low-lying areas. So if you were out there in Pinellas County, you're still looking for a place to stay, Largo High School, one of several shelters here in Pinellas County where you can find a place to stay, to be safe. We have all of the locations in Pinellas County that are shelters here. They are listed on our website, fox13news.com. And let me get to a couple other notes here. Now is the best time to obviously seek shelter. They are expecting an influx of people right now, again, just trickling into Largo High School, but they are expecting an influx of people as the day goes on, as conditions deteriorate. But right now, very slow, as you can imagine, for 4:30 in the morning, but people still coming in here, and they are gladly accepting folks who are looking for shelter. Guys.
All right. Thank you, Marissa.
Good morning, you guys. We are here at Indian Rocks Beach, actually right before you hit the bridge going on to the beach. And as you can see behind me, we've got Pinellas County deputies here on scene, and we have got a sign that says no re-entry after 6 o'clock. That means after 6 o'clock this morning, nobody will be allowed to access the barrier islands here in Pinellas County. And that includes residents, that also includes people who have business matters. Nobody, not one soul, will be allowed onto the barrier islands here in Pinellas County. And that, of course, includes where we are here at Indian Rocks Beach. Again, you can see the flashing lights. You can see the Pinellas County deputies. They are on scene telling people that they have just over a half an hour to gather whatever they may need before the access to these barrier islands is completely shut down at 6 o'clock. And again, this stretches from the Dunedin Causeway to Tierra Verde, including where we are here at Indian Rocks Beach. If you are trying to leave the barrier islands, you will be allowed to do so, but you will not be able to come back after 6 o'clock. Now let's toss it to some sound from the sheriff from last night.
As of 6 a.m., there is no reentry. So we're trying to be very fair and very cognizant of needs, and that we know this is a very stressful time for everybody, and that they have things that they're trying to take care of. But there reaches a point where we've got to draw the line and say no more.
And that point is, of course, at 6 o'clock this morning. So we have seen a limited amount of cars who are coming through here, people who are gathering just some last minute belongings, what have you, making some last minute decisions to their homes, trying to just take care of their business before this storm hits our area. Now, I don't know if you can tell, but it is starting to rain a little bit here. It is a little bit more breezy than when we first got out here this morning. So things are starting to pick up. Things are getting a lot more serious. So if you do live out here or have business matters on one of these barrier islands, heed to the advice. You will not be allowed back here after 6 o'clock this morning. So just a little over half an hour to go. If you were out there listening, just make sure you get everything done before 6 o'clock this morning. Guys.
Marissa, before we let you go, I want to ask quickly about the Howard Franklin, the Gandy, the Courtney Campbell. What is the status of those bridges right now?
I think those are all being maintained. As far as I know, and those are all being maintained by Pinellas County deputies right now. I don't believe that there are any shutdowns at this point.
Okay.
We know that the Skyway has been shut down, but that is all that we know of so far,
Okay.
I believe.
All right. Thank you, Marissa. Fox 13's Marissa Lind is live for us at Indian Rocks Beach. You can't even go back, even if you have those passes that they were handing out earlier, right?
That's right, Laura. So it is now 6:05. So that means that nobody will be allowed. They will not be allowed any access to the 11 barrier islands here in Pinellas County. So here at Indian Rocks Beach, at about 5:55, 5 minutes before this thing shut down, we saw a handful of cars. I think I counted maybe 6, so there was a rush to get here before 6 a.m. But if you do come out here now, you see that Pinellas County deputies are out here. They are maintaining this, and they will not allow you in for any reason whatsoever. I cannot say that enough. So if you are a resident here on one of the barrier islands here on Indian Rocks Beach, you will not be allowed on. If you have business matters out here, you will not be allowed on. And I'll show you right here. They actually just put out this cone over here earlier, about 5 or so minutes ago, to block people from coming on to Indian Rocks Beach before they even get onto the bridge at Indian Rocks Beach. So no access to any of these barrier islands as of 6 o'clock this morning. So as of 6 minutes ago, and that stretches from the Dunedin Causeway to Tierra Verde. Now, if you are going to leave one of these barrier islands, you will be allowed to do so. You will be allowed to leave at whatever time. You just won't be able to come back now that it's 6 o'clock. And I know that we had talked about some of the bridges, and Dan Maddox had talked about some of the bridges earlier in this newscast. I do want to add to that. The Sunshine Skyway, yes, that is closed, and this will likely, not likely, it will stay closed for the duration of the storm. Florida Highway Patrol also watching the conditions at the Gandy Bridge, the Howard Franklin Bridge, and the Courtney Campbell Causeway, and they will begin to secure those bridges at sustained winds of 40 miles per hour or more. So at tropical storm force winds, they will begin securing those bridges. So right now we have the Skyway closed, but everything else is still being watched, guys.
All right, that's good to know, those main thoroughfares.
Yeah, so at 6 a.m. they closed off any access to any 11 of the barrier islands, including right here at Indian Rocks Beach. So you won't see any cars coming toward the beach, maybe a sheriff's deputy or something like that, but that's just them manning, making sure that people are safe, that things are going okay around here. You might see people coming off. Now, people are allowed, since that 6 a.m. closure, people are allowed off the island. They just can't get back in. So let's just give you kind of a little bit of color of what's going on here. Check out the roads, completely desolate, completely barren. We are starting to feel that the winds are picking up a little bit. The rain is starting to trickle down a little bit, not any kind of downpour or anything. I want to show you that there are still some folks willing to ride out this storm. Check it out across the street, a couple of cars still sitting there. This is a very dangerous storm, as we've been hearing all day long, all yesterday long, how dangerous of a storm it is, and to be on one of these barrier islands. It's a very tricky move to make, and I do want to show you some of the other color from where we are in this little shopping center here. We've got a lot of shops and restaurants that are boarded up, and actually, I mean, I guess take what you can use. If you can't find the plywood, you've got the fencing here that are boarding up some of these stores and shops. And let's get a little bit closer. Oh, there's a fellow with his doggies out here. Looks like he may be riding out the storm. And here we have it. Some fencing that was used to board up this restaurant right here. It says, "Stay away, Irma." We can only hope that Irma stays as far away as possible from our area. But again, except for this fellow walking his dogs, I have literally seen nobody out here walking except for this. So that just kind of, I guess, good timing there. Yeah, not very much time before this thing hits. It's, like I said, weather conditions, at least out here, are deteriorating. I've had to hang on to my hat a couple of times. It's raining. It's getting much windier than it was when we got out here about 4 or so this morning. So things are starting to change a little bit out here, and again, not much going out here, but we did see that there are people riding out the storm, and for as much as we've told people to get to safety, it's unbelievable that people are still willing to ride out this storm. And again, you do see some cars out here, most of them sheriff's deputies just trying to man the area, make sure that everything is okay around here. But for the most part, after 6 o'clock this morning, no residents, no business owners, nobody with business matters out here at Indian Rocks Beach or any of those 11 barrier islands are allowed back on here. So yes, we are seeing a couple of cars out here, hoping that they are sheriff's deputies and not people trying to swing this thing out, because it's really not worth it at this point, guys.
Yeah, it's not. And you hope those people in those cars are trying to get out of there. Mm-hmm. That's what you hope, right?
Yeah, you hope that they're not staying there, that they're maybe grabbing something last minute.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure why that they're out here, because at 6 o'clock they shut everything down, and they did start turning people away, saying get off this island. So right. There's got to be a very important reason that they're back out here, guys.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right, Marissa. We'll see you later. Thank you. The bridges to the barrier islands are now closed, and our Marissa Lynn is live on one of the Bay Area's busiest beaches. That's Clearwater Beach. Clock is ticking down for people to, well, it's now clock's out, isn't it? It's done. You got to be out of there, right?
Yeah, but surprisingly enough, we did run into one man and then another couple. One man who said he is staying here. He's riding it out at the Mandalay Beach Club. He's staying on the 12th floor, and he says he is going to ride this thing out. Then we had another couple who got a last-minute offer to stay somewhere else in Pinellas County. I believe they said Tarpon Springs. So they got a last-minute offer, and they said, heck, we're out of here. They were gone. So yeah, this is Clearwater Beach. I do think within even the last few minutes, gusts have picked up, wind has picked up, it's raining a little bit more. Let's look at the sand dunes. You can see if the wind hits it right, it's blowing sand away. So the conditions are definitely worsening at this point. The water is no doubt choppy. Yeah, so this is Irma making her first wave here through the Bay Area here on Clearwater Beach. And I know it sounds weird, but it is crazy that there's nobody here. There shouldn't be anybody here, but it's crazy to see how bare one of the most popular beaches here in Pinellas County is. Just there's not a soul in sight. I know we were on Indian Rocks Beach a little bit earlier. We did see a couple of people out there picking up seashells, but nothing of that nature out here. We're near Pier 60 out here on Clearwater Beach. Not a soul to be seen, except for, like I said, one guy who says he's riding it out and a couple who says they're on their way to safety outside of those evacuation zones. Only here in Pinellas County, evacuation zones A and B, those are mandatory evacuation zones for Pinellas County right now. And if you have not left, if you have not sought out shelter, I should say, you are definitely running out of time. I do see a vehicle coming at us. I don't know if that's a police car making rounds, but they do have police officers who are making rounds here. Clearwater Police are making rounds, making sure that people are safe if they are still out here. Should they need any assistance with anything else. But other than that, nobody, if you're a resident, business owner, you have business matters out here, anything to do with Clearwater Beach, you will not.
And Marissa Lynn is over on Clearwater Beach right now, letting us know how it looks. It's wet. It's raining, huh?
It is so wet out here, guys. It is starting to definitely pick up. It's very windy, it's raining, and I want to bring in Clearwater Police's Lieutenant Anthony Monti. The one thing that you really want to stress to folks at home right now.
Well, those residents that are still out here on Clearwater Beach, we obviously stress the importance of leaving the beach at this point. I know there are some people that want to ride out the storm out here on Clearwater Beach. We're urging everybody to leave Clearwater Beach. We're expecting strong winds out here, a storm surge, so we're recommending that everybody leave now.
And we want to make sure that people know that yes or no, they cannot access the beach anymore. Those 11 barrier islands here in Pinellas County, you cannot access those anymore. There are checkpoints set up. Clearwater Police is there. Pinellas County Sheriff's Office is out there making you guys turn around. But you can, yes, leave the beach. Are you seeing people leave more often?
There are a few people that we're seeing leave the beach. Like you said, we do have a hard closure in place at this point, so we're not allowing anybody back onto Clearwater Beach at this point until the storm passes. But you will be able to leave the beach at any time. The eastbound lanes on the causeway are going to be open at all times. Any
other issues that you're seeing out here on Clearwater?
No issues at this point. Obviously, the rain is starting, the winds are picking up. Like I said, we're just urging all people to leave the beach.
All right, Lieutenant Monti, thank you so much. And I do want to point out that we did get video. We're not showing it right now, but we did grab video and talk to a father's son, literally over to the side here, bagging up some sand last minute, doing it now, and they are on the first floor of a condominium complex out here on the beach, and they are riding it out. It's just unbelievable seeing how many people are willing to take that risk, but they were filling up sandbags just moments ago, gonna put that in their home. Hopefully, everybody stays safe out here, but we can't promise anything in one of these evacuation zones. Of course, Clearwater Beach in that evacuation zone A. So we'll toss it back to you guys.
All right.
Okay. Thanks, Marissa. Our Marissa Lynn is at Clearwater Beach. 6 o'clock this morning or so, they said you can't go in anymore, right?
That was at 6 o'clock this morning. So even if you're a resident, you have business matters on the beach, nobody, as of 6 o'clock this morning, is allowed back on the beach. Now, if you want to leave the beach, Clearwater Police do want you to know that you can still leave the beach. You just cannot get back on. And so I kind of want to give you some color, show you what's going on here. We are in Gulfview Boulevard, and nobody here at the moment. We did see a couple of stragglers who are willing to ride out the storm, believe it or not. But all the shops, all the restaurants, everything is closed down here on one of the main drags here on Clearwater Beach. Let's go over here to the actual beach side of everything, and we'll show you some of the conditions out here. Give us a second to walk over here. But I feel like the winds are kind of like up and down, up and down, up and down. I feel like every time we go live here on the station, the wind always seems to pick up a lot more. So it's a little bit more windy than it was just even in the last few minutes. But sometimes when the wind blows, you can kind of see the sand being picked up by the wind. The palm trees are blowing like crazy now. The waves are a little bit more choppier than they have been. So this is the beginning of Irma. These are these outer bands that what the effects that we're feeling are from those outer bands. And like I mentioned earlier, there are a couple of people out here still who are willing to ride this thing out. I saw a father and son duo who were actually making sandbags out here. Sandbags this morning. I guess better late than never. They are staying on the first floor of their condominium complex. I'm assuming it's one of their homes out here. So yeah, they said they were getting sandbags, trying to get their home prepared. What they told me was that this seems a lot worse than what they thought it was going to be, so they wanted to be prepared, guys.
I'm afraid that's what a lot of people are going to be saying. Worse than we thought it was going to be.
Should we move on to Pinellas County?
Yeah, Marissa Lynn is over on Clearwater Beach. Can we check in with her right now? Hey, Marissa.
Hey there. Well, speaking of outer bands, we can see some of them out here, and there's been a couple of gusts that have just whipped on by, and those are the strongest winds that I have felt out here at Clearwater Beach. So I know we're sounding kind of like a broken record where we say it's getting worse and worse, but really this is the worst, and we've been out here since about 8 o'clock this morning. So you can see the progression of the storm. It is definitely picking up here on Clearwater Beach. Now, I do want to make a couple of statements about curfews. I know we've heard about curfews in Tampa. St. Petersburg has a curfew at 5 o'clock. As for the rest of Pinellas County, I was in touch with Clearwater Police. They themselves do not have a curfew, but they will take whatever ruling the county comes down with, and we have not heard from the county. We may hear about that at the EOC presser coming up in just a couple of minutes, but I don't know if you guys can hear it. That was one of those big gusts where I literally have to keep my hand in my head to keep my hat on because it is just starting to rip down here. Yeah, it is a pretty amazing sight. I mean, I don't know how many chances you get to see Clearwater Beach this bare. We have not seen anybody on the beach out here. Oh, well, until now. Of course, we're live on TV and we see a couple of people walking down the beach. These are literally the first two people I've seen on the beach. We've seen people walking around on Gulfview Boulevard, but we've got a couple of people waving hi. Be careful out there. So we were talking about the restriction of being let back onto the beaches and the barrier islands. So at 6 o'clock this morning, they shut it down for residents and basically everybody from getting on. You still can get off the beaches and you can still get off these islands. You just cannot get back on. That was closed off at 6 o'clock this morning. So we've seen very few people here. We've seen these couple of folks out here. We've seen people walking along. We saw a father and son duo. They were gathering literally beach sand for their sandbags. For their first floor condo. So there are people out here who are riding this thing out. And I want to show you the palm trees. They are whipping a little bit more. The sand is wet here. The wind is kind of up and down. You get a couple of really strong gusts and then it kind of takes a little bit of a lull. We do see the outer bands here and they're moving. You can see them moving. They're actually moving quite quickly. But yeah, the conditions are definitely worsening. Now, Pinellas County as a whole does not have a curfew. St. Petersburg does have a 5 o'clock curfew, but as a county at this point, Pinellas County does not have a curfew, though officials will tell you they do not encourage you to be out in these conditions. So, right now, we're just kind of seeing a little bit of rain. The wind hasn't been so strong at this point, but like I said, it kind of comes and goes. So right now, it seems nice, but you know the worst is yet to come, guys.
All right. Okay. I know. It is. We'll talk later. Thanks, Marissa.
Hey, guys. Good morning. We are on Court Street in Clearwater here, and let's just show you what we're having right here. This is a palm tree that snapped in half. Let's show you where it snapped in half at. I mean, it is so windy out that it could easily happen again. There's several other trees out here on Court Street that are just blowing in the wind. It could easily happen to another one. Now, we were here when police arrived to set up flares, and as you can imagine, those things burned out quite quickly after they left the scene. I don't know if you guys can tell. Yeah, here's one of those other trees that at any moment at this point could just snap in half too. When we talked earlier when we were on the phone how dangerous it is to be outside, this is why. I've seen at least 2 cars come through here, try to cut through, try to go around this tree that's down in the middle of the road. There's absolutely no room to go around here. So you have folks jumping the median. I mean, it's just not even worth it to be out here. It's not worth it. It's too crazy. The wind is still howling. I know when we talked earlier, I could barely stand. It has died down a little bit here, at least in Clearwater, but that doesn't mean it isn't like this everywhere else. The winds are picking up. The gusts are hit or miss. We're going like this with the winds. It is just not worth it to be outside. It is not worth it to drive. It is just too much going on and with no lights, street lights, you know, even when we were just driving down here to kind of scope out the destruction, down tree limbs, down branches, everywhere, and some of it would catch us off guard because there was no street lights on. So all in all, just really still a very bad time to be out here on the roads, to go outside, to take a walk. It's not worth it. It is not worth it till this thing is completely out of our area, till we at least have a little bit of sunlight to see where we're going. For your safety, it is so important to stay inside, guys.
Yeah, and we're continuing our team coverage with Marissa Lynn, who is in Clearwater for us, and we understand that a roof is damaged at an apartment complex.
Yeah, guys, we are on 1221 at Drew Street here in Clearwater. It is the Drew Ridge Apartments. Now, let's just show you what's going on here. You got chunks of concrete here on the ground. A satellite dish that was blown from who knows where, because we can't still tell with the darkness here where it's come from. Let's walk over across the street. Got to be careful because we've got just chunks of concrete, and then you've got shards of tar paper. So this is the roof, guys. The roof that came off of this apartment complex. You can see it right there. Some of it's still hanging on there for dear life, but a lot of damage in this community. We are again at Drew Ridge Apartments, where there is a significant amount of damage. You got, oh, check it out here. I didn't notice this earlier. Now that we've got a flashlight on, we've got the roofing on top of a car right here. It just, people aren't going to be able to get into their cars tomorrow morning to walk out or to drive out and see what else is going on. But elsewhere in Clearwater, you know, this is the most significant that we've come across. But we did take you to that downed tree earlier in the morning, the palm tree that snapped in half on Court Street. We've seen plenty of downed trees, debris in the road, tree limbs, tree branches. Power lines are an issue. Stay away from those. Clearwater Police sending out a press release minutes ago asking the public to please stay inside because it is just too dangerous to go outside because it's still dark. You can't see what's going on. And I want to give you an example of that. Again, I posted this on my Twitter page. After we did that live shot at that downed tree in Clearwater on Court Street, a truck came plowing through, didn't see the tree at the last second, and just completely slammed into it. Now, I think that person that was driving or the people that were in that vehicle are okay. They were able to back up, cross the median, and continue going. But still a very, very scary scene. Absolutely no reason for anybody to be outside at this point. It's still raining. It's still windy. Now, not quite as windy, but I mean, you've got a roof on top of a car here. If you get a downed satellite dish over there, concrete in the road, it's not even safe for anyone to be out here at this point. So if that doesn't give you the picture, if that doesn't put that into your mind of why people should not be out here and until further notice, I don't know what else will. But at this point, still trying to see what all the damage will be. Clearwater Police blocking Memorial Causeway still. Nobody is allowed onto the beach still. High winds, of course. But they did tell us that there is a lot of damage on the beach. Of course, a lot of downed palm trees there as well. So this is just the earliest bits of what we're seeing here. When the sun rises, I'm sure we're going to get a lot better. We're going to get a lot better of a picture of what is going on here in Pinellas County, guys.
Marissa, to add to what you're saying, and I don't know if you've seen this yet or not, but we're just getting a news release from Pinellas County. And I'll read you part of it. Deputies are warning citizens to stay off all Pinellas County roadways due to hazardous conditions that include traffic light outages, downed power lines, and significant debris blocking roadways. Pinellas County is currently sealed off at the county lines, and deputies are restricting access until damage and safety assessments are completed. The barrier islands also remain closed. You pretty much covered all of that, but I just want you to know there is an official release that says that.
Yeah, and just another example of why you should not be out here. Our photographer Steve and I, just driving to look for damage, to try to show you pictures and video of what is going on here in Pinellas County. There was a few times where we're driving down the road and even we didn't see the limbs and the branches and the trees in the road. You know, you either slam on your brakes, you move around it. It's just way too dangerous to be out here on the roads for such a variety of reasons, and I can't stress it enough. If you don't need to be out here, you don't need to be walking, you don't need to be driving, you just don't need to be outside. So stay inside until further notice from the county sheriff's office, from the local police departments. They will tell you when it's all good to be outside again.
Okay.
And it may be a while.
Hey guys, well, we are at 1221 Drew Street here in Clearwater. We're at the Drew Ridge Apartments, and we showed you some of the damage before, and I do want to show you some of that again. You can see some of the tar paper. The roof is on the ground here. This is the first look that we're getting in daylight, at least. It was very dark here at 6 o'clock when we did that first live shot out here earlier. I can see some of the residents coming out, checking out some of the damage that has been done to this apartment complex. Let's check out this satellite dish that's also on the ground here. Pretty dangerous stuff. I'm still trying to figure out where the satellite dish came from. I'm guessing where the roof ripped, somewhere around here. But you've got the satellite dish, you've got pieces of broken concrete here on the ground. Over here, more of that tar paper that has come off the roof. And under here, I don't know if you guys can see that from over here, but there is a car right under the roofing here. So a lot of damage here in Clearwater at the Drew Ridge Apartments. And I want to bring in Clearwater Police's Rob Shaw. How does this compare to what you're seeing around the city?
This is some of the more significant damage that we've seen here at the apartment complex. Thankfully, we haven't heard of any injuries related to the hurricane. What we're seeing on the streets is a lot of debris, a lot of trees, a lot of wires down, traffic signals out. There's a lot of mess out there on the roads, and we're encouraging everybody to please stay home, stay inside while we can kind of get a peek at everything and get the cleanup begins.
Yeah, it's still very windy and the rain is still going on here, and I was going to mention, we definitely do want to remind folks that just because it is daylight and you can actually see the damage now, you still want to keep them inside indoors.
Yeah, there are a lot of power lines down. We were driving out and about, and in the darkness hours, you cannot see those power lines. Now, as we get light, you're going to be able to see them, but you don't know what power lines are live, what ones aren't live. You might not see it trapped in the debris of a tree, and so it's best just to stay inside, stay off the roads, and let our crews do their work.
Lots of trees down, making it very difficult for drivers, especially in the dark before, to see what they were doing. But some of the dips in the road, you're still missing branches and limbs that are down there too.
Right. There's a myriad. We've seen street signs down. We've seen traffic signals down. We've seen light poles. There's a lot of light poles down we're hearing in the beach area. So there are so many items there that if you're not paying attention on the road, you're going to hit them, and then you're going to cause yourself some damage to the car, and you might injure yourself.
All right, Rob, thank you so much. Get dry, get back into that car. So yeah, a significant amount of damage here at the Drew Ridge Apartments. The sign says this is a 55 and over community here. So yeah, we just saw a couple of residents, a couple of people walking out, so we're going to try to talk to them and see what is happening indoors here as well. We'll toss it back to you guys.
All right, we're hoping for the best for those folks. Thank you, Marissa.
Fox 13's Marissa Lynn is live on Drew Street.
Yeah, you talked to one of the residents who lives there, right?
Yeah, we did. We'll have that sound for you guys a little bit later, but I do want to show you the significant amount of damage. Rob Shaw with Clearwater Police was on with us a little bit earlier, and he says what we're seeing around here at Drew Ridge Apartments on 1221 Drew Street is probably the worst amount of damage we're seeing in Clearwater. So let's check it out over here. So this is the roof. It ripped off from right up there. Right here, this black stuff that you're seeing, that is the tar paper. And over here is a car, one car. So not just one car, go. The roof that came down here, somebody didn't park there, but we've got, I believe, 2 other cars around here. So 2 other cars. So we've got 3 cars under a roof right now. This is what residents woke up to. Across the way here, if we look down, you can see all this just cement stuck on the road. Can't drive in this. I got a downed satellite dish here. And this is heavy. I mean, thank God a car wasn't in there. Thank God somebody wasn't driving around in there. So yeah, this is probably, like I said, some of the worst damage that we're seeing in Clearwater. We've also got down power lines. A lot of those, not just here in Clearwater, but around Pinellas County, down tree limbs, down branches, trees. We saw one snapped in half earlier this morning on Court Street. So we're finally here. You can see some of the tree limbs down here. I mean, this is everywhere. That palm tree, I'm not sure if it was already blown to the side like that, but it's hanging in there for dear life. So this is what we're seeing around Clearwater. We haven't been able to actually get onto the barrier islands or Clearwater Beach because those bridges are still closed at this point. So I know Clearwater PD did tweet out some of the pictures, a lot of down trees, palm trees gone, sitting in the middle of the road. So it's pretty much what we're seeing. A lot of damage here. I think we got lucky with the Cat 1 coming through here because I feel like it could have been a lot worse. It's already pretty bad. The wind is still picking up kind of on and off still. Still got some rain here and there. So, you know, I have to say, I think we got lucky here in Pinellas County, here in Clearwater, where we're looking at right now. This is significant amount of damage, but can you imagine if it was worse? A Cat 3, higher strength winds, heavier gusts, higher gusts, speeds. I can't even imagine. But luckily for the people here that we talked to, they're grateful that lives were not lost. Nobody was hurt. This can all be fixed. That can be, you can get new cars, you can fix roofs and stuff like that. But you certainly can't replace human life, guys.
It's so true. Thank you, Marissa. Roofs blown off of apartment complexes. Fox 13's Marissa Lynn is at Drew Ridge apartment complex, and this roof, where it has fallen, is a sight to see. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, guys. I want to get to that in just a second, but first I want to give you an update from Pinellas County right now. Deputies are going to be allowing access back into Pinellas County starting at 9:30. So right now, basically, it's 9:29, according to my cell phone here. Barrier Islands, though, will remain closed. But again, the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office is announcing that at this time, they are allowing people back into Pinellas County at 9:30, which is right about now. So we're talking about the roof. You mentioned the roof. This is the roof. This is the tar paper. This came from up there. I don't know if you can switch around right into the roof, but yes, this all came down, I'm told by a resident that lives here, about 2 o'clock this morning is when the wind was really reaching its peak, and it fell on 1, 2, 3, 4 cars. Okay, and this is, I hadn't noticed this before as we were walking around, but check out the dent and the damage to this car. The side view mirror has been knocked off by the roof that came down. We've got a TV antenna down here as well. We've got, like I said, 4 cars damaged by the roof, and looks like these folks are checking out the damage, getting their first look.
Thank God we moved our car last night.
You moved your car last night.
Yeah,
where was it parked?
Right over here.
Wow.
We wanted a couple over, but I thought these ceiling tiles would start flying off first.
And it was actually the tar paper.
The tar paper, yep. We thought, I thought they were made of asbestos, and I realized when they came down this morning, they're actually all concrete. So we're really concerned about them becoming flying projectiles.
Scary thought, but glad to see that
we
you are
come
okay.
From Naples, our home. We hope our home isn't destroyed in Naples.
Do you know exactly what happened there?
We watched on the Weather Channel all 53 minutes of the eye go through Naples. We came up here Friday morning to stay with my mother-in-law to make sure she's okay. She's 80? 82? I don't want to get that incorrect. And then we came here, and then the hurricane changed its path. We thought it was going to stay on its original track more towards the East Coast. So we came here to seek refuge. And
got part of it here.
Yeah, now we're out of power. These 2 buildings are out of power. Okay. There's a lot of sparking lines are down behind these buildings.
Yeah, a lot of live power lines are down, so people need to be aware of live power lines.
And I think that's extremely important for somebody else other than us TV news people, us reporters out in the field. We keep saying that, but to hear a a person just driving and walking down the road. Yeah.
Walking back there, the live power line is sparking, especially near anything flooded. I mean, that's more dangerous than the wind. That's really
Probably
scary.
checking on the neighbors, the elderly. I'm in the Coast Guard, so I'm a U.S. Coast Guard auxiliary, so just waiting to get activation orders to go down either Fort Myers or to or Miami to do post operations there.
Well, thank you for what you're doing to check on some of the people here, and thank you for your service, and glad to see that you and your family are all okay, and that is the most important part.
Right now we're looking for a coffee.
Yeah, exactly.
A hot coffee. Thank you. We love Fox News, by the way.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Fox. Thank
you. So we've showed you some of the damage, and I did say that I wanted to toss to some sound. I don't know if we still have time to toss to some of that sound of the resident that was here that we spoke to earlier today. But we'll toss to the sound right now.
I've just been sitting here reclining in a chair because the other two was sleeping. But I can't sleep when all this is going on.
Yeah.
No, but I didn't realize a mess. So, anyway. But you know what? I just thank the Lord. Nobody was hurt.
Mm-hmm.
That was my main concern because I just panic. You know, you're looking all over who's here, who's not here. They're okay.
And I think that is the general consensus from the people that we've spoke to around here at Drew Ridge Apartments. Just thankful that no human lives were lost in this. No lives were lost, I should say, as a repercussion of Hurricane Irma. All of this stuff, cars, I know it's significant damage, roofs, it can all be replaced, but people cannot be replaced. And as you just saw, from the earlier interview of that family that we just interviewed before we tossed to that sound of the resident from here, same thing. Just glad that everybody's okay. That family is checking on people, and the important advice that yes, you are allowed back into Pinellas County. The sheriff's office is now allowing access back into Pinellas County as of 9:30 a.m. But you have to be super careful. You've got tree limbs, you've got branches, you've got full-blown trees in the road, and you've got those power lines. And you heard that woman, she just said that they were sparking right behind this building. You gotta be careful because sometimes you don't even notice it, you step on it, and you just don't want to do that. So be careful if you are gonna go out and about. It's still pretty windy out here. Rain is off and on as well. So the remnants of Irma still here in the Tampa Bay area, guys.
All right.
Nice job out there today, Marissa. Thank you.
We did talk to Mayor Kreisman earlier today. He was updating us on what the city is going through in the aftermath of Hurricane Irma. Now, what a difference 12 hours makes here in Pinellas County. In the wee hours of the morning, we were talking about the punishing winds that Hurricane Irma was delivering, and now we're talking about the calm after the storm. Let's take a look at some of the video. This was our first look at some of the damage just before 7 o'clock this morning in Clearwater. And this was some of the worst, I'm told, by Clearwater PD of some of the damage that we found in the city. This is the Drew Ridge Apartments on Drew Street. The roof was ripped down by Hurricane Irma's winds, crashing down on 4 cars. It also tore down a satellite dish that was sitting in the parking lot, along with chunks of cement. As a whole, the county dealing with a lot of debris in the road, down trees, branches, limbs, down power lines is another big issue. If you see one, just don't go near it. Just stay away from it. And speaking of trees, let's take a look at some other video we have for you. As we made our way from Largo to Clearwater and St. Petersburg today, we saw trees snapped in half, or we found them completely uprooted like this one in Crisp Park. That showcases the incredible strength of Mother Nature, and that's why county and city officials here in Pinellas County are asking you to stay off the roads if you can.
If you don't have to be on the road, folks, please stay off the roads for a while. Give our folks a chance to get out there and clean the roads, to remove the debris, and to make sure that those roads are as passable and safe for everyone as possible. The other problem we've got is with all the power that's out right now, a lot of our traffic signals are down.
Now, despite the rain and power outages here in St. Petersburg, Mayor Kreisman giving the good news that the city did not have to discharge any wastewater from its plants here in St. Petersburg. That brought a round of applause, as you can imagine, from city leaders. And at last check, we do want to inform you of some stats here in Pinellas County. 395,000, wow. We've been out here a long time. 395,000 people are still without power here in Pinellas County. As we made our way to the offices, the EOC here in St. Petersburg, we saw plenty of traffic signals that were offline. You got to be patient, and that's why these city and county leaders are really asking people to stay off the roads, because you just don't know what you're going to come to find out while you're driving down the road. Some of these tree limbs and some of these branches, they kind of come up as a surprise. And you're slamming on your brakes. As we were driving this morning, we were experiencing some of the same, guys. Linda.
Thank you for that update, Marissa, and we do appreciate all your long hours and your hard work. Thanks.